Hello, everybody, and welcome to Broadcast.gg's coverage of the South American region for their contenders. And one of the more beautiful parts, this is actually week 3, but the second set of games for us on the English broadcast. Here with me today on the desk, I have the lovely LaFawn and the beautiful Lemon Kiwi. Thank you so much for joining me. Those that are unfamiliar, for the recap of week 1, those that did miss the coverage, we did have Brasil Gaming House taking a 4-0 victory over Breakdown Gaming, while Revoltz ended up losing in a 0-4 fashion to Encore Esports. These two teams will be the first match of the day, as we have a powerhouse of series ready for you. Not to mention on the first team to talk about. I mean, Brasil Gaming House themselves, y'all, is a very strong team. We have seen their dominance, very run-of-the-mill, through and through, all the way to the Overwatch World Cup, back and forth and in between. Now, LaFawn, my question to you, in their consistent dominance, what more can you tell us about them?
I mean, their history, their record speaks for itself, right? They've gone a ridiculous, nearly a year almost without being defeated. They've only lost to one team, or two teams, I guess you could say, Isurus and Karma. So they aren't particularly, in the negative column in terms of their win-loss ratio. They are very aggressively in terms of that, just winning outright. They're a team that actually, they're pretty much their entire roster made it to the final 12 of the Brazil World Cup team. So they've got a lot of players here that are either best in the region or are very, very highly touted. So there's a lot of talent on this roster. And when you speak of Brasil Gaming House, when you speak of BGH, you speak of just sheer unrivaled dominance in their region. And it's actually kind of unbelievable how much other teams haven't been able to measure up to them necessarily in terms of their history. So I guess the true answer here is, what more can we praise about them beyond the fact that we just have to highlight their record over and over? It's an actually unbelievable run of victory here for BGH.
And I think this season will be kind of the same thing as last season, where playing BGH is almost the kiss of death of like, who can really take a map off of these guys. And I'm excited to see like all these other teams like reshaping their rosters, and maybe we can have a team that can contest them in Group A. But another important thing to me here is that BGH have only had one little roster change. That's bringing Colero back into the roster, who plays support, whilst almost every other team has had significant roster changes, but BGH has stayed core since last season.
I like how you brought up significant roster changes, because that brings up their adversaries today, Lemon, and that's going to be Revoltz, coming off of a deficit 0-4 map differential, walking into this match against the powerhouse of Brasil Gaming House. What can you tell us about the Revoltz?
Well, Revoltz, man, they've grinded hard to get into this season. They climbed through trials, getting one of the last spots. They've gone through so many org name changes, from Keystars to being Up Gaming to Revoltz to changing their complete roster. And you've got players from all over the place. You got Toxin, who's from the original Keystars, AGM from Caverna, TH7 from Pain Gaming. He's going to be the player to watch for me. Pain Gaming had such a good showing, and I think TH7 is going to be the one to put the team on his back. And then you got Leon, another DPS player who was from Uprising and Trials. Tiago was from Black Dragons. Himura's from Encore Esports. And just to underline that, there's players from all these different contenders teams, all these puzzle pieces coming together. So it's really a question mark to me of how Revoltz are going to shape up this season.
I think one thing to just to highlight here is that this match here is a litmus test for Revoltz, right? Like, we already know they're a new team. We already know they're down 0-1 in Contenders so far. They're down 0-4 in map differential. This here is a chance for them to sort of put on their boots and say, okay, we're for real. We can actually play up to the level of our opponents. And what better opportunity than BGH? You come in as the definite underdog. There is no question. Absolutely no doubt in my mind that is the case. So what can you do as a team to sort of put yourself in that mental state and say, hey, yeah, we're the underdogs, absolutely, but we're going to come in, we're going to play as aggressively as, as much in our own style as we can, and try and take a victory here against BGH, which frankly would be actually astonishing for Revoltz and put themselves in a really good position going through. It's going to be a tough charge for them, but it's a great opportunity as well.
I'm so happy that you brought up everything, and these play on words are also fantastic as well. Jigsaw pieces fitting into place, building a beautiful painting, so on and so forth. But the one thing to definitely keep in mind of is Group A versus Group B. I mean, Lemon, we were talking about this previously before we actually went live. I mean, Group A is stacked against, and it is heavily in the favor for Brazil Gaming House that almost everybody underneath, Encore, Nocturnes, Caverna, Revoltz, and Breakdown, they really have to show their stuff, if you will, just to make a foothold into Group A standings.
Yeah, Encore seemed to be like the one that'll probably take the second place spot over BGH, but BGH looks like they're going to be comfortably on top, and I'd be surprised if they even drop the map this entire season. And with Revoltz losing 4-0 to Encore, and to keep in mind, week 1, you've seen some crazy stuff happen. You know, in EU, you got British Hurricane even losing to mid-tier teams, so anything can happen week 1. And now that we're in the, I guess, technical second set of matches, the week 2, technically week 3, these guys are starting to warm up. And we even talked, we failed to mention actually that Revoltz have even picked up 2 more players, Eddie Goss and another player, I forgot his name, and they're going to be coming on next week, I believe. And it's, again, Revoltz integrating new players, and who knows what they can bring to the team.
Revolting against the standard of having a normal roster and always fitting in these jigsaw pieces to where they fit best. And going forward, I would love to know your predictions, but we're going to write them down and we're going to touch them up on halftime as well, as we're inching our way towards in this match series. What I would like to know before we quickly throw to our casters here, LaFon, your player to watch and why?
Oh man,
I know.
That's tough. I think for Revoltz it's gonna have to be their DPS duo, Leon and TH7. They have to come up huge here today. It's going to be a case of can they stack up against BGH. So those, again, another cop out here for me, but I'm going to give 2 for Revoltz. On the other side, how does the tank line for BGH actually play, right? They have their support line who's kind of new, so we're not sure if the tank line will be able to play as aggressively as they perhaps would kind of expect, or if that's actually going to be, sort of a factory in terms of going forward. So I'm kind of interested in the tank line for BGH as well as the DPS for Revoltz and see how that goes in this match.
Lemon?
TH7, I already mentioned, was my player to watch. Hitscan coming from Pain Gaming. He brings a lot of experience and veteranship, if that's a word, to the team. And I'm very excited to see what kind of leadership all these players from all these different teams can bring up. And I'm hoping Revoltz can put up such a good fight. I know BGH has such a crown over their head in South America, but I'm looking for someone to take that spot from them.
Yeah, I want to see revolt against the Brazil Gaming House and really give them a run for their money, as well as we are learning that our first map of the day, y'all, is going to be Oasis. And as we are inching into our first control map, we have a beautiful pair of casters that are going to be bringing you the action. And I would love to throw it over to the wonderful duo of Boopasaurus and Hand Tornado. Take it away, y'all.
Look how beautiful we are indeed, Panda. I love it. But we have a great matchup for you today, and that is Brazil Gaming House, the consummate professionals of South American Overwatch, versus the new roster of Revoltz Esports, formerly of Keed Esports, who barely got back in to Contenders.
That's right, Keed. They unfortunately came in last season, won 5th place in Trials after they rebranded into Revoltz, but they're back in Contenders, and that's all that matters because they have their second chance now to make their mark in this season too. But it is going to be a little bit difficult coming up against Brazil Gaming House.
Yeah, BGH is going to be, I think if I would describe it would be an uphill battle. But, they have new rosters. They have experienced players coming in as well. But like mentioned, they are going up against what could be the Brazilian World Cup team. So this is a litmus test for Revoltz right now. But on Oasis, Ham, you said they might have a chance.
That's right. Oasis control. Anytime, we see these kind of brawly style maps, said it once, said it 1,000 times, going to 1,001 now. But there is a lot of potential for individual carry plays on this kind of style of map. You cap that point, you leave it, you forget it. It's going to be all about picking up those frags, getting those kills. And that could be kind of where Revoltz focus their energy, because their DPS players, Leon and TH7, these are definitely not people to ignore here. Keep an eyeball on that, because as we open up here on Oasis, first map is going to be City Center, that big Fabergé egg right in the middle, the playground of Pharahs everywhere. But right now, taking a look at the team rosters, it looks like there will be a slight divergence in terms of the strategy team comp wise. There is going to be Liko on the side of Brazil Gaming House, showing that Pharah, a very common hero that we see throughout Control, but Revoltz instead with TH7 on the Genji.
And something I'm looking forward to is watching Liko. Some people will say that he's arguably the best player in South America, and let's see he's going to live up to that expectation. And Dudu is, also brings some really hot stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Liko and Dudu, those are names we've been hearing since the inauguration of Brazilian Overwatch, and now they're going to have yet another chance to continue their dominance here as we open up. Dudu on the high ground on this Tracer, looking to chunk down those tanks. Neil, interestingly, on the Roadhog. Brazil is actually not running any kind of main tank here as we get an early demek onto AGM. This is really going to give Revoltz a hard time contesting Liko's Pharah.
Yeah, they're playing with one less tank, and so this is pretty much open season for Brazil Gaming House. Thiago gets a nice consolation kill, but in the end, BGH takes this fight pretty easily.
Yeah, that was a very quick cleanup, something we don't see that often here on City Center, Boop, as one of the difficulties of this map, playing this map type, is getting all of the kills on those last couple of stragglers. But immediately we see the quick change from Revoltz. They're going to throw TH7 on the McCree instead, give a little bit more challenge to Liko in the air, who is really testing his luck over here, but he is so close to the barrage. You can absolutely drop that ultimate as Revoltz try to make their way through this choke point.
They're never going to have a team fight if this keeps happening, right, Ham? It's like they keep getting these picks, and you want to get in there with that play-by-play, but, you know, it's not happening because those plays aren't happening because the picks are happening instead.
Ooh, yeah, and AGM takes the short dive off a long bridge over there, gets rid of that mech so that Revoltz can go in with that full 6 once again, but they're relying very heavily on TH7 to hit these shots, but so far, all of Brazil Gaming House really coalescing around this Pharah pick, as we saw in that last fight, pushing their advantage, knowing exactly how far they can stretch themselves without overextending. And now there's going to be a barrage of ultimates, all 6 online.
And the post bomb whiffs, but the rocket barrage does not. Transcendence is going to come out just to heal everyone up and just make sure they keep this point. This point is pretty hard to flip, Hand, but the way that Revoltz is playing, they just got to come in as 5, and there's a little bit of a solo queue play.
I do like that you said come in as 5 because Leon has, well, no, honestly, Leon, he had the pulse bomb last time. Unfortunately, it didn't stick. He's been on a bit of a flank trying to make that opening so that the rest of the team can actually get through that archway. A good way to play Tracer. Hasn't been working out so far, though. But we do see now Revoltz taking a different route, going on the right side here. They have yet to really contest this objective at all.
Yeah, Liko is just zoning them off of the point. They're taking too much damage before they're able to enter the actual control area. So this is the longest that they've lasted before a pick. But as I say that, they do go down. But TH7 finally getting the pick they need. Liko is out of the air. This is the opening Revoltz was asking for. Honorata, though, getting that self-destruct kill, going to make it a lot harder. This is now a 5v5 on the point with that res. And what looked like a good point for Revoltz is now shaping up to be a good point for BGH. As the time to kill for Revoltz is too slow. BGH is coming back with those kills. DNEC will help them, but in the end, this overtime wake is going to most likely roll down, but no, Toxin is going to take it back. So maybe I should have been a little bit more optimistic about what Revoltz could do on the point, because they do end up flipping it, Ham.
That was a huge Deadeye kill from TH7. He absolutely saved that fight for Revoltz right there. You get the Mercy out of it, and then we saw once Liko was taken down, he was removed from the fight, essentially. Even though he didn't die, there was no way that he could truly participate. So now, Revoltz cannot give up a single fight, however, and it's going to be very difficult coming up against Liko's barrage. AGM going to have to be hot, ready with that defense matrix to save his team.
And Thiago does not have Transcendence, while Colero will. Valkyrie is pop. Liko does get the kill, but dies with the, oh, actually, the barrage does go down. So this is just a clean fight from Revoltz, but they do get the flip. So it's actually on the side of BGH right now. So this could be a waste of percentages.
Oh, absolutely. It was a close thing right there. Unfortunately for BGH, 99%, you're not going to be taking up any further. Revoltz were able to rebound back and capture the point. Really like the focus there from the team. It's all about getting those kills. We know we can come back with the man advantage and recap that point. Now, Dudu's Pulse Bomb, though, we know this guy is a monster Tracer. He's going to be dropping, we'll say, bombs potentially on any of the members of Revoltz, and that could make a huge difference. TH7 so far has been a little bit vulnerable, but we see AGM here just playing Guardian in the backline.
So the Pulse Bomb could be what they need to finally win this point. Let's see if it's going to be able to get that stick. You know, right now it's just kind of making his presence known. Being the mosquito that is, Pulse Bomb goes out. It's just going to get the shield, and TH7 is going to continue his dominance on this point. Deadeye was big last time. Will it be big this time? It looks like Dudu's going to take it to the dome, and the Revoltz, again, looking strong, Ham.
Absolutely. They've really found their footing here. I'm loving it from Revoltz.
Oh!
TH7 gets the 2-shot onto Alemon.
Oh!
Well, Colero, he is headhunting support on fire, and deservedly so. Toxin has popped the Primal Rage, helping scatter everybody, tossing up the enemy for his McCree to shoot down. An excellent play from Revoltz so far, and the good news is they'll also have this Valkyrie as well to continue to try and tempo this, and it's absolutely necessary that Himura hold his hand until Alemão pops it as well, because this will be likely the last battle of City Center.
For Brazil Gaming House, this is going to be the fight to win. They will have 4 ultimates online by the end of this. 2 have been used, and 1 has been used for a kill on a TH7. Judu trying to do that damage on the Winston. The Discord Orb is on him, so he's taking extra damage, but with the kill on Himura, Revoltz might end up losing this point in the end, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. The overtime wick is going to go down soon. They got to flip the point, and then they got to get the wick down, and here we go, 199 for BGH, Ham.
But I'm loving this. BGH takes the first round, but 100% to 99. Remember, folks, this Brazilian team, BGH, has lost twice in the last year or so. So the fact that Revoltz can even make their first round this close is going to bode quite well. I'm hoping for the rest of this series. We saw that oftentimes it really just came down to a question of ultimates. TH7 not able to get quite as much done on the McCree as Liko was doing on the Pharah. It was actually a swap that was forced out of the Revoltz team due to Liko's dominance in the air. However, now as we move on into University, we're hopefully going to be seeing a little bit more of comfort picks coming out from Revoltz so they can play to their absolute 100%, as it does look like it will be a Hanzo Junkrat on the side of the Revoltz team and a Hanzo Brigitte instead from Brazil Gaming House. And what an opening pick!
We said he was good at the beginning, and he's proving it right now. Alemão on that Lucio is going to give his team that health and speed that they need. Arguably one of the best Lucios in South America, but with that initial pick, Himura is probably just now getting back to the fight. The point hadn't unlocked yet, so we're actually going to get a full 6v6, but the positioning is going to be for BGH on this point, as Revoltz is going to need a funnel in. They do get the first cap, but Toxin getting that Alemão with that charge. That is going to be a 5v5 on the point now, so hits both ways, but due to that positioning, BGH has the advantage.
Yeah, Toxin got the good initiation, but the follow-up was all in favor of BGH over there. I mean, we talked about getting that first positioning advantage. Look at the ultimate advantage as well. Neil already going to have that Earth Shatter in this first fight, and the tank ultimates on this point can absolutely win a fight single-handedly for your team. Thiago, though, does take down Alemão first. That's going to be a good start. Just buying a little bit of zoning is TH7 here.
Yeah, Dragon Strike is particularly effective on this map, but just like the last one, Revoltz, they got the first pick, and now they're going for it, and they're going to end up flipping the point in the end, 38% on the side of Brazil Gaming House. Revoltz played pretty clean thus far.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like that the whole team is on board with the plan. You see that every time they have an advantage, everybody goes in 100%, no fear, but Honorato's grab could change all of this, throws it out immediately.
And do we get the combo? Yes, we do. The kills weren't for the combo, but they did get the damage done. Doesn't matter what symbol it is, all you need is the blue on the left side of that kill feed, and that's exactly what we're going to see, as Liko is going to go down and teach them to get the better half, but you know, they're still flipping the point, they're going to capture it.
It's actually been pretty even back and forth so far, Boop, but we did see the ultimate advantage. The Graviton Surge came just a couple of seconds earlier for Honorato. However, Revoltz will have that on hand. The win condition is either of these two tank ults, Grab or Earth Shatter, comboed with either of these two DPS ultimates. So as long as one of those four lands, Revoltz has a good winning chance.
But Brazil Gaming House does have Rally. That extra HP can nullify a lot of that damage with those combos. Revoltz, though, walking in with 4, maybe even 5 ults by the time Thiago gets transcended. And he does, thanks to some damage, and it's going to go ahead and pop that off right now. Revoltz holding onto their ultimates, which I love. But Graviton Surge is going to come in. The charge is going to be on Neil's side instead, and that's going to be the most important kill we see on the kill feed, with Himura going down on that Mercy, and BGH is going to maintain the point. 80% means one fight left for Revoltz.
One fight left and so much to cut through for this Revoltz team. The support ultimate still online for Alemão, not to mention this Graviton Surge from Honorato. Revoltz, they tried their hand here, but that Dragon Strike utterly missed. Is going to be a tire in from spawn now for Leon. It has to be a big one. Even one kill, however, would be good.
Oh, and one kill he doesn't get. The Dragon Strikes are going to get them instead. So maybe they were waiting for that tire and got a little bit distracted. But Brazil Gaming House, little sketchy at the beginning, but coming out on top here on University and taking this 2-0, much closer than one would expect.
Much closer than one would expect, indeed, Boop. But Brazil still take this first win, a good start to the series for them. It all kind of just came down to the fact that Revoltz, once again, were never quite able to fight on the objective proper. A repeat, an unfortunate repeat performance of their city center round, as we saw that oftentimes these ults look so good for them on paper, but the execution was a little bit lacking. They never actually were able to get that Earth Shatter off, which could have been huge. So the burst damage coming through would have been excellent to see. Perhaps pop the tire a little bit earlier to set up for that Graviton surge. You get that early man disadvantage, and then you go in once the enemy team is a little bit off their game.
But TH7 showed off some stuff, particularly on that McCree. Great kill on Mercy, got the 2-shot, got the great Deadeye, and put his team in the running for City Center. Was that the team enabling him, or was he being a little bit of a, was he putting his team in his backpack?
I would say it was definitely a group effort. We saw that oftentimes when he was able to go off, it was given the leeway, those good sight lines, due to the distraction that the rest of his team was kind of running for him. I mean, that's ideally how your McCree would play, right? We set you up so that, you can just go at it, clicking heads, man, right? Forehead, just click heads.
Yep, it's as easy as that. And TH7 looking good so far. Definitely a player to watch throughout the rest of the series. But Brazil Gaming House, right? They made things interesting. We talked about the dominance, but honestly, we saw it at the beginning of City Center, but then it took a map and a half to see it again. It was a lack of consistency for sure, but what was causing that?
It was just that, I mean, Brazil Gaming House, they're so dominant. This team has been together since TF2. They know how, I bet they dream in each other's, conversations. They've been playing together for so long, and you can really see the synergy start to come through. The ultimate discipline, ultimate cycling is really good. Anytime you can engage upon your opponent before the objective, doing really well. And so there were multiple examples of that. Able to get the first Graviton surge was really big for Honorato. And we saw that, they were also very cognizant of the win condition. We got it first, we're just going to pop it, because if this Graviton surge gets the necessary follow-up, we're going to win off the back of this single ultimate. And it always looked like everybody was very on board with, what the plan was for each of these fights.
Yeah, it almost looked kind of like a practice for them at times, right? They were planning out their strategies and then trying to do them the best they can as they moved in. Of course, that's what everyone is doing, but I am assuming that Brazil Gaming House has a multitude of strategies that they're trying out, and maybe this is when they're going to do it, and maybe we're going to see more of those on King's Row, which will be our next hybrid map. Everyone that loves this one, but at this point, I feel like in King's Row, it's not if you can finish, it's how much time you can have left when you finish.
Yeah, originally King's Row was, that third point was so incredibly tricky. Teams couldn't really finish it out, but oftentimes now we do see that going into extra innings. What I'm really curious is what kind of defense we're going to see come out. So the Orisa has been extremely popular thus far, but we still, of course, also see Reinhardt, Zarya. And honestly, Toxin and his Zarya were doing really well for Revoltz. It was just once they made that initiation, the follow-up was a little bit scattered. But on King's Row, the map geometry really favors that Reinhardt-Zarya duo. And so I'm really excited to see if they'll bring that out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Orisa too, because I feel like people have learned how to take advantage of her, just her lack of speed and lack of mobility, because you kind of just want to set up shop in one area, and if you have a Lucio speed boost into your team you can really take advantage of that. But if you're able to get the picks you need, they'll never even make it onto the point. So it's the difference between the Orisa combo versus the Zarya Reinhardt. Again, depends on what you're kind of feeling, but your gauge on these teams, you're feeling that Zarya Reinhardt, right?
I do really liked it, and not just from Revoltz, but maybe we'll see a little 3-3 from BGH once again, because Dudo's performance on Brigitte was absolutely solid.
Yeah.
You couldn't have asked more of a classic performance from a Brigitte, not going in too deep. Oftentimes we see Brigittes going for those risky stuns, getting caught out. There isn't the follow-up, so you really see the synergy coming through for BGH, but we're theory crafting all day long here, but it looks like it's actually going to be a dual sniper composition from BGH, who is on the defense first. So this is a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Liko and Dudu to find those early picks, stop Revoltz in their tracks, because Revoltz, what they're going to have is HP in gobs to just take that objective, body their way onto the point right away, force Brazil Gaming House to meet them on their own terms.
Yeah, interesting that they're using Zenyatta, Mercy as the support combination. Neil, though, taking out Leon, that third tank or off tank that Brigitte does represent, and these early picks are going to spell happiness for Brazil Gaming House, because they're going to be able to get that defense and cause a reset.
Yeah, Thiago sticking with the Zenyatta for this Revolt composition here. Curious if maybe a Lucio would be slightly better, as the speed gives the team the ability to make usage of those HP pools, reposition very quickly, because what Revoltz absolutely do not have is any kind of high ground contestation to try and get in the faces of Liko and Dudu here. So we do see Himura swap off onto that Lucio. Now Thiago actually on the Moira, a much more classic look when you are running that Brigitte, but with TH7 down for the count right away, there's going to be a little bit more time for them to think about their next strategy.
Yeah, we call this GOATS. It's the team that who kind of first did this HP comp, and it works really, really well, particularly on these hybrid and control maps. But Brazil Gaming House is walking in with an enormous ult advantage, so Revoltz is going to have to try to get a junk rush in, take those ults out, or get a miracle fight. And let's see if that miracle fight is going to happen right now. Liko has that Dragon Strike. Valkyrie is going to go online, and Neil is going to go ahead and Earth Shatter, and that's going to cause some disruption, and that disruption is going to cause some kills, as Revoltz is going to have to reset, getting 5 dead on their side.
One little Earth Shatter, all you need for Liko to pick up those kills, and all they used is that single ultimate. So Brazil Gaming House still going to have 5 online, and any single one of these can be huge. Vision is actually going to be a huge thing anytime you're running these dueling snipers. So Dudu's Infrasight is going to be a huge boon for Brazil Gaming House moving in, not to mention the Graviton Surge, as we'll both give it another shot.
Oh, that could be huge, and that's exactly what we're going to see. They're going to go ahead and do the combo, because why not? Liko's playing so well. He will have a Dragon Strike on the next fight already, and as Revolt falls, they finally have caught up in ultimate economy.
So on paper, this is going to be a good thing for Revolt. Good news, absolutely. They have so many tools now in the bank to try and work with, but look at the aggression from Brazil. Catch me and my boy Sinatra spawn camping. What is this? Selfless, but Neil knows he has that Earth Shatter at the ready. Alamong also ready with that Valkyrie to save his tank, so the aggression not going to be punished here by Revolt. Rally now pop for Leon. It's going to be an all-in charge.
And all in, because this is do or die, the way that they're using their ults. Graviton only going to get 2, I believe. Coalescence going to take him down. Liko's going to get a really great pick with that Sonic aerial. Revolt's giving themselves a chance. Lucio disrupting Liko, not able to get the shots he needs, but in the end, it's going to go down. So this is a pretty even fight on the point with Valkyrie, though. It's going to keep Brazil Gaming House alive, and that's exactly what they need to do, because spawns are going to favor Revolt's on that offensive side. Grab's not really doing nothing. Earth Shatter, though, is going to get Honorado down, and Revolt's going to capture this first point, and BGH is going to run out of this light.
Most likely we do see here.
Oh, what timing on that. Waited for the charge and then got the pin, but to no avail. While that was super fancy, BGH still lose the point.
Toxin says, "Can't touch this."
Ooh, very nice Dragon Strike.
Dragon
Zoning.
Oh no!
It's like when you're like super happy and you're like skipping down the street and all of
You're
a sudden you
jogging,
just fall.
And yeah,
right?
it's like
Fell on your face.
tripped over a Dragon Strike in the sidewalk. Did not see this. But
Toenails too long.
Yeah, toenails way too long. Get a nail clip for Thiago. But Revoltz, they recognize that with the difficulty in taking that point A, they got to try and buy some free space here, but they may have overextended now. The shield is gone from Toxin. He's being pushed back by Honorado, who is glowing with all of this energy, incredibly well charged. However, this still means a little bit more free push before the fight engages in earnest here. Another rally in for Leon, and Alamong will have that Valkyrie, though, to tempo that fight. It's not just for healing, folks. It's also there for that damage boost, and Dudu and Liko have been putting in that in spades. Once again, the Dragon Strike will be up for that Hanzo here. The rally is down. The Moira from Tiago is going to be ready with that Coalescence.
Oh, the Graviton Surge is going to grab Liko, and that's going to get a couple kills as well, but that could have been bigger, but the Transcendence is going to keep him alive. Colera, one of the best Zenyatta's in South America, showing us why, keeping his team around for this fight. The Revoltz is going to change that in a spades, as they are going to get the kills, and they are going to make progress on this point.
Yep, spades picking up not just progress, kills as well, as finally it looks like Revolt's able to muscle through the damage from
nice
Dudu
grab.
and Liko, but the Graviton Surge.
Oh, this is going to be big.
Oh, Dragon Strike from downtown, man. It's like shooting fish in a bowling alley. A barrel, I think, is actually what it is. What
Shooting
cool
fish in a
kids are
bowling
saying.
alley works for that,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, see?
By the way, I have instituted a rule for everybody that no one is allowed to get excited over that combo unless it's just like invigorating from the inside. It needs to make you feel things, right?
Got it down in the gut.
Because in the end, I think Hanzo's get a little too much credit for that, when really it's the grab that sets it up, and those little doggies that came out are definitely fed and ready to go for this next fight with 45 seconds left. You know, it felt like they were kind of steamrolling this, is kind of the feel you would get, but that's not the case. 40 seconds left on the clock, so this is one fight and no ultimates. This Earthshatter and Transcendence for BGH is gonna be enormous, and that's exactly what we're maybe gonna see, but no, Neil's gonna drop the Earthshatter, almost die, but the support is there. Colero is gonna drop the Transcendence. They're putting everything into this fight. They want to stop them right here, right now on this second checkpoint, and Liko's doing exactly what he needs to do that with a great Junkrat switch to take down all this high HP characters, but Dudu is gonna go down as well. A little bit of a nice flush from Toxin, and then this is now a 4v5 on the flank. Graviton Surge and Sound Barrier coming down for Revoltz, and that's going to be all they need, as they do get the kills, but this is still an even fight on the point. Tiago's going to go ahead and drop the Coalescence and try to get Zarya down, and eventually they will get it, but a pretty great defense from BGH.
An absolute baller of a defense group here. Brazil Gaming House making things look close. Revoltz, though, cosplaying LA Valiant, really coming alive in that overtime to finally muscle their way through. One of the strains, though, of this 3-3 is that the longer the fight goes, the better they look here, as the opposing team are running out of ultimates as well as HP pools. Toxin has this Earthshatter at the ready. He could absolutely make it for his team. We saw some insane Earthshatter Diva Bomb combos here, and both of those ultimates will be online.
Oh, only gets one, but is the one pick enough for Revoltz to try to finish this map? Colera already at another Transcendence. Gonna go ahead and use this in this 5v4 situation. The res, it was for the res, so Neil is gonna bring this back. 6v5. This could be a huge tire. Gotta get it before he dies from the self-destruct. Does it not actually gets away from it? So Liko gonna get Kimura, so no support available for them. Colero doing his Jonak impression. Very, very good offensive Zenyatta. You can tell by how fast he gets his Transcendence. And right now, BGH finally, what it feels like from the beginning of point B, finally getting back that defense. And with 24 seconds left, this is gonna be a sprint to the payload.
Oh, absolutely. Kimura going to be using those roller skates with all of his might to get his team's bodies on the objective to contest here, but they're going to have to face the Dragaton once again from Honorato and Dudu, and there are no support ultimates online. The grab comes out
here
early.
it is, and there's 5 of them in there, and we get 3 kills for it. Oh, we got all 5, and so Alamang's gonna go ahead and flap the wings in victory. Put those wings up, as I know you love the LA Valiant.
Oh yeah, I love the LA Valiant.
And round 1 is complete. 2 points for Revoltz.
Not bad at all, though. They didn't manage to finish out the map, but given their difficulty capturing that first point A, that was actually a pretty good result for the red team. However, the damage, the win condition were just more consistent for BGH throughout. We saw even with those beautiful setups, Earth Shatters, Graviton Surges coming out from AGM and Toxin, the follow-up was a little bit lacking. Who is going to be your damage? On the side of Revoltz seems to be the question that they've still yet to answer. Dudu and Liko from BGH, we see incredible flexibility from both of these players. Liko was on the Hanzo earlier on, passed the torch to Dudu to pick up the Junkrat for that third point, recognizing that, one, the high ground going to be key, as well as the tire, even especially with Revoltz running that 3-3, no mercy on the line. Lucio Moira instead. So even a single kill with that tire ultimate is going to really put the advantage in the hands of BGH. So good, intelligent counter picking coming out from BGH, and we hope to see a little bit of that coming in from Revoltz as well. I saw you gesturing with excitement, Boop. I was getting really quite excited too, but my heart is hardened. I've been debated too many times. I thought we might see a Torbjorn coming out from Leon. It's going to be the Junkrat instead, and I do like this. The Tire, still a great ultimate to win those team fights single-handedly, and that's what Revoltz needs to see. We need the time to kill to be a little bit shorter, because even though you are running really meaty tanks, in the end, the kills is what's going to get you the distance on the payload.
Yeah, and let's see if Elamong is going to be able to take advantage of this Orisa defense here and get his team past the point and get them in good position to take it, because once that Orisa has to drop, they're definitely at a disadvantage. So with 4 minutes on the clock to start this off, let's get going. BGH is going to be trying to take this point. They're going to go through now they're getting back around, really nice flank, taking advantage of that Orisa's positioning, exactly like we mentioned earlier. Liko looking for those picks right now, so it's going to get some vision. The shield is up again, nothing to it thus far. Revolt's just low. Wow. The Toxin is going to be the first one to go down thanks to Brigida. Oh, and a great headshot. You know, it's like a needle point at that point. Liko getting Junkrat, and this is going to be it for Point A Ham.
Liko, pro player, his second occupation is obviously a Taylor. Threatened the needle over there, getting those crisp dinks, the headshots, and Brazil Gaming House in the blink of an eye, guys. Sorry if you went to the bathroom, but you'll have missed a blazing fast Point A take, and Brazil Gaming House have set themselves up beautifully. Every single one of them more than halfway up to those big ultimates, as Revoltz getting pushed back behind that second choke. We see a swap from TH7 onto the main now, trying to see if Revoltz can focus down this front line, because indeed Liko has yet to die this entire game, I believe. This Hanzo has been absolutely stupendous for BGH. Revoltz, they haven't been having a good time focusing him down. Perhaps it's time to turn their attention to the tank line instead.
And they got 2 huge scatters to start this off. Look how far forward they are, and this payload's just slowly moving with this one person taking up shop on it, and that is doo-doo. And you know, with those 2 staggers, they've already made it past some of the harder parts of Streets phase. Let's see what they're going to be able to do with this Transcendence. Oh, the pin misses, and they're going to take advantage of that, and Toxin goes down. I like the effort, I like the aggression, but you got to make it work. There's a reason why it's called high risk, high reward, and Honorato, it does have that grab. Let's see, something that's not high risk and high reward is the Graviton Dragon Strike combo. We're definitely going to see that and try to finish off this map, as they're going to get Point B really easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Graviton Surge, Dragon Strike, and what is this? Earth Shatter in the defensive spawn here. Revoltz have yet to win a single fight. Have they gotten a single kill here? They need to start regrouping here, but in the face of that over-aggression from BGH, it just doesn't seem possible. Tiago, though, will have this Transcendence. Trance out of the spawn. You need to give Leon the chance to even pop this tire here.
They are praying right now for a miracle. Revolt's no ultimates. Brazil Game House is going to have all of them, and they are going to use the combo, and the tire is not going to get anybody as well. And they do enter the yellow box of victory, not stopping from Point A.
I got my golden ticket, and that's going to be an easy 2-0 for Brazil Gaming House moving into this half. And Revolt's trying some new things. Love the May pick. If you could have worked up to that Blizzard, definitely going to spell doom for the tanks on the ground. But as it was, he just didn't really have the opportunity. So check out the play of the game actually from Tiago, trying his absolute best here to keep his team up. But unfortunately, these days, he just simply damage boosts that Dragon Strike. And honestly, it looked like Mercy and Hanzo, new ship, new OTP, man, because Liko and Calero just pocketing each other hardcore that entire time, and Revolt's never quite able to hop that first fence of getting through the tank line into the back to pressure out the DPS at all. Perhaps you think maybe a dive composition might have worked, change something up, because unfortunately Toxin was consistently losing out that Reinhardt battle. I know that feel. Main tank right here, and just woo, right? You trying to get something done. He actually got a couple of great charges going through, trying to make space for his team, but unfortunately, you know, the follow-up just wasn't there.
Yep, and I think that play of the game really sums it up for Revoltz. Tiago got play of the game, did everything right, and they still lost that fight. So in order to break it down, though, we do have an amazing desk for you. So Panda, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Fantastic cast, though, thus far on a series that has, I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat. It's been a little bit more entertaining than I honestly thought it would be, but let's start off with a couple easy points here. I mean, for Oasis altogether, I'm looking for one man's answer on this all entirely. Everybody's been saying it's a close match. Some of you might disagree at home, though. The footing that was enabling for these two maps on the side of Encores, or for Revoltz Lemon, what was their footing? How do they gain a strong headway into that King's Row attack and on Oasis?
And I just want to preface this with these are two different teams that we're looking at. Obvious point, but I mean, we're talking about BGH core roster that have been together for so long, and you got Revoltz who've been together for a couple weeks. And looking at the two play styles, it's so obvious who's been together longer and who's just starting to warm up to each other. And the bright spot here from Revoltz has been TH7, and I brought him up in the introduction. He comes from Pain Gaming. His McCree is fantastic, and that's the exact answer they needed to go against one of the best spars in South America, being Liko. And you saw that bright spot come up on Oasis, where Liko was just the biggest threat on BGH, and TH7 was the only one that could answer back. What I would like to see from Leon on that Tracer, work a little bit more with TH7, not about like going after Liko. You can't do much as a Tracer, but preventing the resurrects from the enemy Mercy. Liko got brought back twice from resurrections that Leon could have easily prevented.
Yeah, and that's one thing to definitely note, especially for these matches in all entirely as well. Our beautiful casters also noted it as well, that Tiago was just sitting back there, just trying his damnedest, trying to make any sort of footing happening along with those orbs of destruction, putting Volley to face. But one thing to keep in mind here for BGH, Lafon, I am almost in awe and shock, if you will, that I guess my expectations for this team, for this Brazilian powerhouse of a team, to be a little bit too high in a sense. I'm not expecting Neil to be dying off by Junkrat passives, and for their tank line to be such in an aggro defeating state that it's turning out to be over aggression. Would you agree with this?
I'm not sure if it's over aggression necessarily, but there is something there to your point. I mean, is it a case of BGH kind of playing down to their opponent, or is it something that they're not showing all their cards? Again, we do expect BGH to be the best in this group. We think them to be the best in the entire region. So it's not like, we're kind of watching them, lose to lower level teams or struggle against them. That said, there was a lot of moments and opportunities for BGH to be a little bit more in sync, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more, provide a little bit more pressure against Revoltz. And unfortunately, I didn't see that too much. Full shout out to Tiago and TH7. They did a great job on Oasis, but Brazil did not shut them out as heavily as I thought they may have. And that's just moving forward. It's kind of interesting to see is that something that BGH is actually slipping, or is it a case of they're just sort of playing their cards close to their chest, not revealing all their strategies playing against some of these teams?
It could be a huge hole in their play as well. I mean, if you are quite literally playing with your prey, then you are going to get caught down in their backline. Those resurrections might not be as free to some other teams. To Lemon's point, they're not being punished on either end, really, more or less. I mean, BGH, for sure, they're punishing a few, but resurrections are still going free across the board. Coming forward into these, in the second half of our series, down 0-2 in the series thus far, Lemon, do you think that TH7 and Tiago have enough grit to push their team into a map 5?
It's tough. You saw Revoltz kind of bring out some new stuff, try out some new things on King's Row. Mainly, we brought up TH7 on that Diva, which I think we all agreed as analysts wasn't his best look. It's definitely not a hero we've seen him play, at least in Contenders that I've seen. He'll play some Roadhog occasionally in a triple tank, but he's such a good DPS. Like that Diva play, he was never going to contest the snipers, never really contesting the high ground whatsoever, which is mainly a Diva's job. A lot of times he could have eaten these long-range gravitons that were coming up from Honorado, and that's kind of a high-level Diva expectation, though, and TH7 not being at that level. And they're trying this GOATS comp of 313-303 with the Brigida, and we had mentioned it's just not working when you got the crossfire from BGH, who had the double snipers, and they're just all around. They could not counter BGH whatsoever on that King's Row. And that's when we saw them bring out the May Junkrat, which we were all like, this is they're throwing. Is this a throw, question mark? And it's really a strategy that they've used before against Encore, May Junkrat on Route 66 Point C, just that heavy contest comp. And it's kind of an interesting look. Revoltz are making this entertaining, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere than a 4-0.
Entertainment is definitely something I'm always after for, especially as a caster, analyst, and host as well. It's always it's literally entertaining. I mean, we do get to see matches in between a David and a Goliath situation to really be put forth, to see or TH7 rather, and also Tiago in the backline to really push forward onto the enemy front line and really just create all these openings against Liko, who has been a decimation on that projectile flexibility thus far. Lafon going forward into the second series of maps, do you think that at this point Brazil is just a little, or Brazil Gaming House, that they're just a little bit too powerful, that they have really studied the tapes and they have quite literally completed the rest of their region?
Do you need to downloading data when you are just better than everyone else by that far of a margin?
I guess not.
I think that's actually the question we're going to be asking instead. BGH doesn't actually look like they did that much preparation in terms of studying up the game tape of their opponents. So is it a case of just them outskilling them at every level? I'm not sure. Again, though, Revoltz has moments of clarity. They have moments where they come through and they are very, they have like flashes of brilliance, right? Where you see a kill feed light up with TH7, with the Discord orbs all over the place, with them taking points, playing, just sort of in that team scenario. Again, this is a very young team, Revoltz, that is. So I think, to shift it over to the other side a little bit, is it Revoltz that needs to, or is it BGH sort of playing, that much better, or can Revoltz take some strength from the fact that they actually put a little bit of a fight up here in this series?
We gotta dig down deep and break through their shell, as well as we're inching towards our assault map and variant. I would definitely go forward in assuming that this would be a lot closer to how Control was being played out, a little back and forth, playing with your prey. Only time will find out. However, a nice moment to definitely take into turn as the map will come through. It's going to be Anubis, y'all. A map I personally haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be very exciting to see how these two teams play out. A lot of heavy shield compositions could be playing into effect, but that Pharah could be devastating, never in the end. That'll do us for us here on the halftime break. We're going to send it back over to our beautiful casters, the duo of Bupasaurus and Hand Tornado. Take it away, y'all.
Man, I don't remember the last time it was called beautiful 2 times in one day, Ham.
Look at that.
It's
What a way to come back from halftime.
It's usually the opposite of that is what I
Yes.
experience in my life. And what Revoltz wants to experience is the opposite of what happened in those 2 games, right? Look at that segue. Hey. So we're going to go to Anubis now. And I actually think that Revoltz has an opportunity here based on what we saw on Control, which was stronger than King's Row.
Yeah.
And on Anubis, we can maybe see that same kind of aggression work out for them, particularly TH7 on McCree.
Yeah, TH7 on McCree, just on most of the DPS, has been a bright spot for Revoltz. And definitely where they looked the best was when they were giving him the resources in order to enable his damage, because that was in short supply on King's Row. That Goats comp is definitely could be strong against dual sniper, but you really need to be able to focus down that front line. And when you are running a lot of tanks, you're not going to be getting as much burst as, say, if you're running a Junkrat or McCree. So you really need to be syncing up, getting those bits of disparate damage to all land on the same targets.
Yeah, and I kind of see the Goats comp as they run it because they know it's good. But when you have a bunch of new players coming together, they're all so smart. They're all good at this game. They all know how Goats works, but they don't know how Goats works for them maybe. And they just need a little bit more just time on running that comp on a multiple points, because it has been shown to be hyper effective. So here on Anubis, we're finally seeing these team comps, Ham, and Revoltz is going to be on the attacking side first. What is BGH's defense looking like?
Classic Orisa high horse. Caw-caw. That's not the noise horses make. But Brazil Gaming House hoping to make those dings come through with Dudu on this Widowmaker. Excellent performance on the previous matches, and Liko going to be re-upping that Junkrat. So Revoltz coming in this time around. Love the change. Going full dive. Tracer with the Hanzo. Oh man. If you lose the Tracer right off the bat, that's going to be painful. You lose your Winston and your Hanzo as well, and that is doom for this push. Mora, oh no, man, stuck in that trap, and that's going to be a butt boom, as one of our colleagues may say here. Revoltz get a free trip back to respawn.
The saddest part about that was he waited until the trap let him go and then threw the conch mine in. And those kinds of mind games cannot be understated in a matchup like this. When I see Revoltz playing Brazil Gaming House right now, I feel like they're respecting them too much. It's like they're almost intimidated by the name BGH. Tonello we spoke to the other day, and he said Breakdown did the exact same thing against Brazil Gaming House. You don't play, you're not going to beat BGH at their game. You have to force them to play yours, right? Because they're the best at their game.
Exactly. So it is going to be a transition to actually full dive, as we see classic Tracer Genji dive coming through to try and unseat this Orisa, but they're going to have to chew through this tire first. It's just searching.
Oh, and it does find a kill on a Tiago, and this has just been the story of Revoltz's life ever since King's Row. Just single kills, just dooming them on their attacks and their defenses. But they're going to continue with this fight as Tiago is back. Is Dudu going to be able to get a ding? No, just a couple body shots, but sometimes that's all you need. And he heard me, as we do hear that pinging sound right onto Kimora's head. Good control, not shooting during the deflect, but TH7 is going to get taken down by Ligo, and this is just utter destruction right now for BGH.
Absolute, but hey, opening potentially. Alamont is down, and the respawns are much further for the defense here.
Ooh, very nice.
Takes down Dudu as well. You overstayed your welcome, my friend. This is map point, says the Lucio. However, the rest of the cleanup is there for Brazil, and they will continue to hold.
Yeah, that opening has been closed hand, and as Revoltz comes back in, they are going to be a little bit better prepared in terms of ultimates. Tiago very close to Transcendence, Toxin, Primal Rage, which can win them points here on point A on Anubis, and the engage has happened. The Winstons have said hello to each other, just playing jump rope right now with their mercies, but the kills will be coming here soon. Leon almost taken down all the way. Lico gonna use this tire. Is he gonna get anybody? It looks like he's gonna go past the Diva. He's still driving, looking for that kill, and no, doesn't get it. A TH7 and the Dragon's Blade is gonna put this into Revoltz's side. So what was a 4v5 is now a 3v3 on the point. Let's see if they're going to be able to handle this. Honorato, time to kill is low. TH7 once again being the man with the plan on Revolt's side, but Lico's showing that he also has some really good plans up his sleeve too.
Yeah, plans, bombs, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. But that looks so good for Revoltz, but they hadn't focused down Lico, who has been pumping in massive amounts of damage. Every time Revoltz gets a couple of hits, it's at the expense of about 80% of their health pools here. Leon down once again. This Junkrat has been massive for Brazil, and he's going to have yet another tire here. Soundbearer just to try to get some bodies on the point without losing a man here now. TH7, he has to make this next blade count, but he's still so far away.
And everyone has low, the tanks have low health, and the D-Mech is going to make Revoltz very squishy team coming in here on the point. With 20 seconds left, they are going to have to try to race to the point. Lucio is going to have to speed boost them on there, but the way that BGH is setting up right now, they're moving forward so they don't even get an opportunity to make space and hit that overtime. It's going to be up to TH7 or Leon to touch this point. Will they get there? And it's actually going to be Toxin, who is very close to that Primal Rage, but will die before he's able to get it. Neil and Lico going to get those kills they need to wrap up point A on Anubis. Self-destruct not getting anything, but in the end, the wick goes down. Round one complete. BGH getting a point A hold.
Full hold through for BGH there. Toxin, man, I know that feel. You hop in, drop that shield, and he was just in front of it, landed in the trap, and he's like, well, shucks, yeah. Sometimes that just happens, man. You know, land just a couple of inches
You know,
further than you
it's just
wanted.
like really bad when it becomes like your day after that, right? You land on a trap, then later you're taking your dog out for a walk and you step in some poo, step in some doo-doo, and
yeah. I mean, honestly, Dudu brings himself to you with those incredible DPS picks. I mean, yeah, Revoltz, I like that they changed things up. Unfortunately, once again, the sinking just not quite there. TH7, you saw him getting up on that high ground, trying to go for the dash throughs, wear down the enemies so you can get in that last little bit of cleave. But unfortunately, then the Winston was on the low ground, getting chunked down as well. So Revoltz, they got to make a little bit better usage of the resources that they have at their disposal, right? Who are we going to be hard pocketing? Right.
I think the answer is easy, to be honest. TH7 has been by far the most consistent player on the Revoltz side. And, Himura actually shown up on the kill feed a couple times with that Lucio and being really disruptive for Liko on King's Row. So they've got it in them, but TH7 definitely the most consistent player on Revoltz.
I would have to agree there. Brazil Gaming House, though, they themselves going to try their hand at their version of Genji. Liko going to be looking for the sushi. He's hungry. Dudu sticking with this Widowmaker, and why not? He's been playing really excellently so far here. It's actually going to be a likely mirror matchup. I do want to see Alemong on this Lucio, though. This is his standout hero. Going to be looking for some hijinks up in the air, up in the walls. As we open up on Anubis Revoltz, they do have just a tick to give.
I am predicting an early Widowmaker kill. It's going to pop up here in just a second. I don't know which side, but it looks like Dudu is starting to hit some shots because of that nice ult percentage. Really good advantage in the walls on the attacking team. It's going to be Leon, though, coming in with the first ding for Dudu. So they're going to go ahead and reset. Not a lot of time lost, but Winston's actually getting some good ult charge and did take some people low and almost actually got a kill. The Alamong's going to go down. Calero, though, is going to make this a 5v5, and that kill on Tiago could end up being brutal for them in terms of how spawns work on Anubis.
Ooh, the Resurrect is there, though. One of the advantages, indeed, of running this Mercy. Also going to give Leon, the chance for that damage boost and advantage in his head-to-head against Dudu. He's won the first one, and he's going to be hunting once again. But a different round of engagement now for Brazil. Looks like they're going to be setting up camp on the opposing high ground, looking for an opportunity to dive.
And Liko is behind the point right now, only with less than 100 HP, and the Spider-Man's going to take him down as well. But the support is there, the Mega Attack is as well, and BGH is getting those kills. Hey, who needs Liko when you have Calero and Dudu on your side as well? Honorata doing what he can to make the enemies weaker for Brazil Gaming House, but Leon getting the kill onto Calero is going to make this a better defense for Revoltz, but Alamong, though, getting the kill on Mercy, and that is going to be it for Revoltz. Liko just wanting to scream. Sometimes you gotta let that out of your body.
Emotion, man. You can't. If you keep it inside, you get cramps. That's how you get gas, kids. Just let it out. And Liko not even going to be needing the sword to secure Brazil Gaming House's third win.
So 3-0. Let's see if it will be a sweep. Revoltz still looking for their first map win. Will it come on Escort? We don't know, but Liko is playing very, very well. And what's hard is for me is Liko's playing well, Calero's playing well, Dudu's playing well.
What's the weakness on this team, man?
Exactly, and that is 100% what Revoltz did not need coming in here. I believe Lemon on the desk said this could be a trap game for them, right? They might be looking forward to another matchup based on where the standings are now, but that's not what we're seeing. The preparation is definitely there.
Oh no, certainly this is a team that wants to reassert their dominance in this region. Make sure that any of those losses against Isuders were not indicative of their level of play here. So they're going to be looking to secure every win that they possibly can.
What a crazy statistic that one team, well, it was Karma and Isserus, but they're the same org. Yeah. One team has ever beaten BGH in the last year. That's insane.
Yeah, you're going to pump yourself up for that, though. Definitely looking forward to playoffs. It's like, okay, we dominated Group A. We are totally ready.
So my question to you is, not a lot of people have to experience that kind of pressure, right? When you are the #1 team in your league. In other sports, University of Connecticut women's basketball team won like 80 games in a row, right? But how does one maintain that top level play for so long? And the thing is they're probably getting the best out of everyone they're playing too, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I honestly, Boop, I went to Berkeley, so I wouldn't know what winning feels like in sports, but I can imagine. So, yeah, it is a lot of pressure, but the good news for BGH, though, is that they've maintained this consistency throughout. I'm gonna harken back once again. These are a whole pile of friends who've been through not just, World Cups together, South America Contenders, but they played together through other titles as well. So they always know how to get the best out of each player. What is, Liko's strengths? What are Dudu's strengths, right?
Yeah, and that all transfers over from all of those games. I know in the games that I play, I am bad at the same things in every game, and I need my
Like
teammates to support. Stop.
Boop has one of these days. You guys may have the the honor, the distinct honor of playing Hanzo with Bukasaurus. Yes. So.
Does not look like what we're seeing on the screen. My Doomfist can't pop up.
No,
Just saying.
yeah,
But
Doomfist.
less about me and more about Route 66.
Yep.
And a little bit more about Brazil Gaming House, because the thing I love, one of the stories that I love about them is Colero started on that team and then was a little bit of a journeyman for a year and a half, and now is back playing with
Prodigal
them.
son has returned. Yeah.
Exactly. And so they have like the main group back together, the family, it's a reunion, and we're seeing the effectiveness of that. And I am loving watching Colero play Zenyatta, and he has been playing one of the strongest Zenyatas I've seen so far in South America.
Yeah, the support lineup for BGH actually not getting quite as much of a shout out given the dominance that BGH has shown so far, but Colero, excellent. Alemong as well. I just love the fact that South America is one of the few regions that knows they still love Lucio.
Everyone
boy,
loves Lucio,
our boy,
right? And the crazy thing about Alemong too is if you go all the way back to the first map, he was a little rusty, it looked like, and he was getting picked off first, and that is when Revoltz was winning. So maybe that's one of the strategies that they can go into Route 66 with is, hey, if we take Alemong out, right? They don't play as well. Yeah, it's a support, but he provides a lot of consistency and leadership on that team.
In particular on Lucio, your ability to tempo the fight cannot be understated, not just with your speed boost, but the healing song as well. Whenever you're able to amp that up, gives your team a huge advantage. And where we see BGH kind of really, if we could break it down into how are they winning so far, they force the enemy teams to play their game in terms of fight tempo, in terms of aggression, in terms of hero picks, in terms of positioning, right? So if you, perhaps that could be something that you try and focus on, make it so that they can't engage whenever they want, right? Disengage whenever they want. Start focusing down some of these supports.
Control, right? When Brazil Gaming House is in control, they're winning. Revoltz needs to take that away from them and play at their own pace, but Brazil Gaming House making that hard to do. So we are running 2 tanks here for BGH. It looks like Neil and Honorata are going to be repping that Ryan Zarya combo, and that hook though, Liko, that is how you control the tempo.
Wake up and smell the scrap gun, son. That's going to buy Revoltz so much space here. They're going to be able to get that push around the first corner of Big Earls, and TH7 searching once again. He's tasted blood, and now he is hungry. Revoltz now, I love this composition that they're running. The Diva hadn't been working out anyway, so we're going to put TH7 on this Roadhog. A one-man wrecking machine is what they're hoping as they come in, and Dude is the first one to fall again.
This is so awesome to watch, Revoltz, because you are forcing them to play your game. 4 tanks, the slam bam, thank you, Mambulance, as Ham likes to call it, working to a T right now. Revoltz making quick work of Big Earls. I do believe they're going to contest. Dragon Strike is going to make that possible as they push them off the payload. Brazil Gaming House is all coming back, but TH7 once again being the most consistent player on Revoltz. Great bubble from Honorato, saving his teammate, and finally, for the first time this round, Revoltz is getting pushed back off the payload.
Yep, Revoltz is the charge his way into the spawn. Colero gonna help him the last couple of extra meters, but still, what an assault from Revoltz. That is how you face BGH, no fear, and TH7 leading the way with an excellent pig, my porky brother from another mother. Loving it so far, and the good news is they also forced out a Transcendence from Colero. Honorato, though, gonna have that Graviton Surge on hand. That may spell one lost fight for Revoltz, but as long as they know they're coming up against it, they can still go in with confidence.
Graviton Surge available for Brazil Gaming House. We're going to definitely see how they use that. The Dragon Strike Graviton combo is available, but it's going to be hard to use when everyone is dead anyway, thanks to a great Earth Shatter by Neil.
Neil, it looks like that's kind of like the silver lining, right? You missed the charge, but hey, I'm in the back line anyways, guys. I got the surge shot. I'm going for it.
It was a positioning charge.
Exactly. It 100% calculated. However, this does mean that Toxin will have his own ultimate on hand, and Leon is just a couple of seconds away from getting that rally as well.
Oh, Graviton Surge is going to get, I believe, everyone. And here we go. Everyone except Tiago. Tiago's gonna throw himself off the map to join his brethren in spawn. Sorry about that pubescent squeak, but Tiago is gonna come back with Coalescence. Everyone else will have their ults, so Revoltz, this is your fight to win. They should win this.
Everything is looking good on paper for Revoltz. They got plenty of ultimates on hand. They just need to let them fly. Rally going to be escorting them onto the payload. Toxin, though, has to watch out. He's already so incredibly low here.
Sound barrier gonna hit everyone except a Leon Charge, going to miss Alamog, being the mosquito that they hate on your picnic day. Alamog gonna use that sound barrier now. Graviton Surge gonna get the kill onto Honorado. Scrap Gun not really doing anything with that whole hog. Great hook from TH7, but thanks to the armor provided, not gonna get that one-shot kill. Reinhardt will get the best of TH7 in the end, and to finish it off, Neil is gonna take down the rest of Revoltz, and they had 6 ultimates, they now have 5, and they still lost the fight.
Feels bad, man, but Toxin still, he could be the man with the plan. Man with the hammer going to be more important in this upcoming fight, but Liko with the potential to get an early kill for his team with this Dragon Strike. You see, once again, an aggressive defense from BGH. Judo gets the better of that head-to-head with Leon, and that's already a man disadvantage for Revoltz. They have no more support ultimates to drop to try and sustain on this point. Oh, the Earth Shatter finishes things out, and Revoltz gonna be have to be happy with just a few meters short of point A.
But the thing about Revoltz is they have some game tape that they can be very, very proud of at the beginning of that. They completely shocked Brazil Gaming House with that 4-tank comp.
Yeah, it was a couple of really great hooks from TH7. He was efficient and he delivered. So Revoltz gonna be at least right now in spawn, showing him on that hero once again. And why not? Brazil Gaming House, this was one of the first times that they looked a little bit caught off guard, and you can definitely use that to your advantage.
Yeah, since game 1, they've played a very clean map 2 and 3, and you know, honestly, where they got stopped is amazing for Brazil Gaming House. But once again, they were surprised by that 4-tank combination. Revoltz is going to rock something different this time, going to do 3 tanks instead. And I love that they're keeping TH7 on to Roadhog as he popped off.
Yeah, absolutely popping off. And Scrap Gun, you know, that whole hog, still a pretty excellent combo with the Graviton Surge, but you know, it's just a little bit of the setup slightly lacking there. But Brazil Gaming House themselves just deciding right now which one of their, you know, looks they're going to be pulling out of the wardrobe this time around.
So my question for you, Han, it's very important. So TH7's real IRL name is Tiago.
Yes.
Tiago's real IRL name is Tiago.
Yes.
Do you think he heals TH7 more than other people because they have the same name?
Tiago, you gotta stick together, man. Yeah. Right? It's like you would know, right?
As Chris, yeah.
As you guys may not know, Boop's real name is actually Chris. It is not Booposaurus. So it's kind of that.
It's my middle name. Booposaurus is my middle name.
Yeah, Chris Booposaurus Lassard.
Yep.
Got to get that synergy going, and Tiago and TH7, we'll see if this duo will be what grants Revoltz their first map win this series so far. But check this out, man. Hey, it's not just about hero swaps, it's role swaps as well. Alemão going to be the first time he's showing this Brigitte. Neil and Liko, though.
So 3 people, I believe, have played Brigitte for Brazil Gaming House thus far. Dudu has, I think Liko has at one point in time. I might be wrong on that, but that's the versatility that Brazil Gaming House is going to provide. And Neil's going to provide a funeral for Toxin to start this off. And this is now a 5v6 situation, and they're going to take advantage of that. And all they need is one team fight win, and they can get to the yellow box of victory. TH7 going to throw himself off of the cliff. Oh, actually stays there. Did a little bit of a magic trick. I think Panda would like that.
It's exactly showing that he and Gravity are best buds, but unfortunately, Revolt's not going to be good friends with that golden box of victory, as the win will go to the way of Brazil Gaming House. A clean 4-0 sweep in this series.
As clean as can be. Mr. Clean is gonna be their sponsor after
exactly.
this.
No Moira needed, no lessons needed. The floor is already just beautifully mopped. Right?
Exactly. It's so clean, it's actually hard to walk on it because it's just so slick. But Honorado with a slick Graviton and some wonderful tactical crouching, I'm gonna give that a 7.5 out of 10.
Yes, and Boop would all know all about the tactical crouch. produced a series. Check it out. But yeah, it's not just about how you win, but it's about how you style in an excellent Graviton Surge in a hallway, making sure you can catch the entire team off guard. Dragon Strike just down the alley.
Yep, Revoltz again, though. They have moments in time where they looked good, and they looked good against what possibly could be the Brazilian World Cup team. So that's not an all-in bad situation for Revoltz. I think there's some great learning. They can learn from that loss, and they can learn from a lot of the great things they did during this match. But to break the rest down, we're going to throw it back to Panda and the crew on the desk.
You know, I do like me a good magic trick, and I will accentuate that tactical crouching series is pretty spot on. 10 out of 10, my man.
Series was over just like that. It just disappeared.
Yeah, and speaking of magic tricks, I mean, just watch the entirety of Revolt's push just disappear. And going forward off of that, it's a little bit more devastating. I want to go back to Hanamura specifically and really bring this question to you, Lemon, as you've been really covering SA pretty well. You've been seeing a lot of Lucio play come out, especially for Revolt's around this dive core and Lucio. They're heavily favoring the Speed Demon himself. I know that he is Brazilian as well, but do you think it's a viable pick, and do you think that they can move away from it in future games?
So this is another strat that came up back into their week 1 Encore or match versus Encore. It's this vanilla dive Genji Tracer, but what's interesting is the Lucio pick. And you usually see your Lucio to boost your, non-mobile tanks, but dive is so mobile already. So their type of comp is very early game success, to dive in, assassinate as many people as you can, and hope to get the number advantage enough to carry that fight. But the issue is, yes, they would get picks, but in a late game scenario, Lucio does not provide enough healing, especially when Revoltz were playing as split as they were once the dive had actually gone to the later stages of the fight. So I felt like Revolt's strategy is sound, execution a B-. So I think as the matches progress in the weeks, they'll learn how to maybe get this early game advantage quicker, because late game Lucio, like I said, not going to provide enough resources, where BGH running the Mercy have a lot more late game success.
Absolutely, and well played as well around these different core compositions. Regardless, it's always really fun for me. I mean, I've been such in tune to Mercy's and Yada and the triple-ish tank that brings out with Brigitte that it's always very joyful when I get to see these Lucio compositions come out, brought to you by Speed and Phase Shifts. Fantastic ability, by the way, and fantastic hero, might I add. Going forward off of this, LaFon, I know that you are sitting there in your seat and you're ready to ooze with some coaching proprieties. Going forward off of this for Revoltz, they were able to gain a certain headway in certain maps. Sure, we can go ahead and wash away the full holds that just transpired in previous maps. It's okay. It happens to the best of the teams. It's all right. But what can they do differently going forward into this next set of series after week 3, regardless with their new composition and new players? What can they learn from this match in particular?
I think one of the things, if I'm, Revoltz, is before I make any proposals of any sort, I learn commitment. Because one thing that team kind of lacked is that in every single map, in all of them actually, is that they would get an advantage. They would not press that advantage. They would instead spread their team across 4 or 5 different characters and end up just losing the fight. It happened on Temple of Anubis, it happened on Route 66, it happened on Oasis, and it, of course, happened on King's Row. Like, if there was a case where, for BGH, they had their off-tank player go underneath sort of that mega health pack room inside of Route 66, that front one. There were three players from Revoltz, the Reinhardt, the Brigitte, and I believe the Moira. And who got out of that fight alive? If you answered Zarya, congratulations, you were correct, but also that should never happen. One character with all their cooldowns burnt should never survive against 3. There was just a case of Revoltz. They have the opportunity at their fingertips. It's right there, and then they just let it slip out. And the problem, it's not even like it's, the worst part, it's not even like, okay, they just got out mechanics at a grand level, right? Like where you see like a gold player play up against a GM player. That didn't happen. On the whole, mechanically, Revoltz wasn't that far off from BGH. It was a case of, I don't know if it was a new team scenario or if it was just a case of players not talking to each other properly, but there was too much of that through 4 maps. And okay, your first map goes wrong. That's fine. You're a new team. It happens. But you got to communicate throughout the rest of the series. And from what we saw here, Revoltz just didn't do that. They made BGH are great, and they're going to be the first in slot in this group no matter what. But man, Revoltz made them look really, really good.
Revoltz, I mean, it's such a tough week going against the best team in SA. I apologize. And 4-0, did we expect anything less? No. Or anything more from Revoltz. At least the shining spot, at least that the fans from Revoltz can hope for, is that in the coming weeks they're adding 2 new players, being Barihan, don't know the pronunciation, but Barihan from used to play for Encore last season. He's a support player, and they're adding Edigas, who is a DPS player from Dogma. So maybe these changes is what they need: another support player that can play a little bit more Mercy, a DPS player that can enable TH7, or maybe they're going to throw him with Leon. Not sure, but what I know is that Leon doesn't run double sniper a ton with TH7, so that would be maybe some strategies they can try and enable more. I want to see their dive turn out a lot cleaner. We talked about the dive with the Lucio. It's looking good, but it's not enough to vanquish the top teams. And I hope that Revoltz can at least end middle of the pack, but I'm a little bit worried in their relegation.
Yeah, and I definitely want to see them upcoming in games, both Brazil Gaming House and Revoltz. But that'll do it for this match here for you folks. Thank you so much for LaFon and Lemon joining me on the broadcast desk, and the wonderful casting duo of Boopasaurus and Ham Tornado. It was a fantastic series to be brought to you by Broadcast.gg. If you're unfamiliar with us, we are a community of broadcasters, producers. Myself, I started off as a wee weeb, and I made myself all the way to here. And it can be you, as long as you test that follow button up top and you follow the link down below. You will be able to follow your dreams, much as mine here today. Our next match as well, we'll be giving a first victory to either Breakdown Gaming or Caverna Esports. Breakdown Gaming, the ragtag group of friends, will they be able to pull out the stops here? Start of that game will be soon after this series. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been Pokemon Panda. We'll be passing it on to the next series of broadcasters. Have a wonderful rest of your day.